Hello, welcome to, at last, another edition of album rankings, and it's going to be carry on with the Hawkwind. I'll tell you what I did forget, bear with me. I always forget something. My Hawkwind book. So yeah, I've been going through the Hawkwind albums per decade. So I've done 70s, 80s, 90s, and I'm going to do the 2000s and 2010s together because there was only really one album in the 2000s anyway, studio wise. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, studio albums. Straighten that up a little bit. So yeah, I don't know really. I've spent, the reason why I've been so long really, because I really wanted to have a good old listen to these albums, because they're fairly new, and I'm kind of not as familiar with them as like obviously the classic albums that I've been doing. So it's been really interesting. I've had a good thorough listen. I'm only doing up to 2017's Into the Woods because that's where my book basically stops. I mean, since then they've actually done quite a few albums. They did the Road to Utopia, which was sort of orchestral sort of versions of some old songs. All Aboard the Skylark, which was a Hawkwind light. Oh no, it was a full album. They did Carnivorous, which was a Hawkwind light orchestra album, and obviously their brand new album Somnia. So yeah, so there's 6 albums more or less. If you look up at Wikipedia, they say Take Me to Your Future is a studio album, but it's not. So I don't know why that's in there. It's sort of extras and some live stuff, and also videos, like a dual case video thing. It's pretty good, but I wouldn't call that a studio album. So yeah, so I'm going to do the 6 from worst to best. Let's get the polls up because I want to compare what my list is to yours. Should have got all this ready, shouldn't I? But yeah, I'll be honest with you, like I was seriously thinking of not really doing this poll. Here we are. Because I've always, like, especially with bands that I really love and bands that have been going for so many years, I usually have a bit of a problem with getting into sort of the more modern stuff. And I'm a bit like that with music in general. From sort of like the year 2000 onwards, I'm sort of a little bit like that with most music. You really need, to be honest, a sort of younger review of these albums, but I thought I'd do it anyway. Yeah, I'm terrible with, like, I'm kind of set in my ways. I don't dislike these albums at all, but you know, obviously, you know, I love my classic Hawkwind, and I think that's the same with most fans. I mean, some of these albums do rank quite highly in the top 40 actually, so, and they were really prolific actually in the 2010s. It felt like a little bit of a comeback by Hawkwind in many ways, so you know, it's all cool. Hopefully I can see these. I've only got these albums on CD actually, so I hope, because I don't have my glasses, so hopefully I can read some of these. I'm going to start off with my number 6. So let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. I'm going to start off with my number 6, and it's also your number 6. I don't actually own it. It's just a bit like a Psychedelic Warlords White Zone style album, where it's kind of not really a Hawkwind album, but I thought I'd include it anyway. It's called Stellar Variations, and it come under the Hawkwind Light Orchestra, I suppose, term, because it was only 3 members, and I think what it is, it's the 3 members that were living in the West Country area, so basically Brock, Chadwick and Niall Hone. Yeah, because they're all sort of from the same sort of area as the rest of the band, and sort of not in that area. They sort of wrote this album. They've done another one in 2020. Not sure the members on that one, but yeah. So I don't have much information on it actually, because there's no info on it. Let's see if I can get it up on sort of YouTube. Because to be honest, like I liked it, but would I be able to sort of tell you much about the songs and that? Kind of not really. But I did kind of like it. Yeah. So I'm trying to jog my memory of some of these songs. So yeah, so you got Perspective. If I remember, that's pretty good. It's All Lies. I remember I didn't mind too much. Variation 3. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. It's quite a funny song. There's one track. I'm not sure what one it is, but they used the lyrics from a couple of songs from Chronicles of Black Sword actually. I think it might be the song from A New Age. I think it might be that one. So yeah, you know, a bit like White Zone. I'm not overly familiar with it, and it's sort of like passed me by a little bit, but so that's why I got it down at number 6. So yeah, my next album, I'm trying to get it up actually so I can remember my my order. Should really get prepared, shouldn't I? Before I do a bloody show. Where are you there? So yeah, I tried my hardest to sort of get into these albums, and they have felt like quite a sort of comeback in a way. They actually charted these couple of albums, but I've got at number 5, and it's part of a 2-album trilogy, like concept album trilogy, 2-album concept album. They sort of go back to back, and it started with The Machine Stops from 2016, I believe. So I've got this number 5, you've got it at number 2, so it's much light actually, and I've got no problem with any of these albums really. In a way, this album feels more like a proper album because it's constructed that way, you know. So I've got no problems with these albums. It's a great cover. I do love the cover, and it's based on the it's based on the book, sci-fi classic. Oh, come on, Foster or something. Where is it? Oh, E.M. Forster, that's it. Yeah, it's kind of like the idea of that they're basically run by computers, basically. They're underground. All their life's worked out for them. And it starts with the All Hail the Machine. I think the lineup for this is Dibs. A lot of the modern sort of albums, they're often not playing that much as a single band. Like certain members of the band would record certain parts and things like that. But yeah, so you got Dave Brock, Richard Chadwick on drums as usual, Mr. Dibs on bass. I think he's still on bass and electronics. Dead Fred actually, I think one of the only albums he's on. Niall Hone on sort of various instruments, and Has Wheaton comes in on bass as well for a few tracks. So you got yeah, All Hail the Machine I really like, good sort of spoken word introduction. The Machine, the track, kind of rocky track I rather like. Katie is just a quick instrumental. King of the World, sort of alright. In My Room I don't mind too much, Brock one. Thursday, don't remember that too well. Synchronized Blues, not a bad sort of rocky track. The only thing I'm not overly keen with a lot of the sort of modern albums production wise is they sound kind of like muddy in a funny way. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but in a way they're quite raw, but they're produced okay. They just sound quite muddy, certainly in the guitar sort of area, and sometimes the vocals aren't very clear, get lost in the mix. But apart from that, they are actually well produced. Hexagon is interesting. I think that's sung by Dead Fred, which is Phil Reeves, I think his real name is, and he was involved with Inner City Unit and things like that. But that's like, he does like synth work on this album, so it's kind of more like an electronica sort of song. Quite weird, he's got quite a strange voice as well. Living on Earth, La Harmonica Horse, and No Home one, instrumental. Yum Yum, oh, it's just a quick 1 minute track, not very good. The Solitary Man, I think that was released as a video. Yeah, pretty reasonable song by Brock. It's okay. Tube, another sort of dancey sort of instrumental, and Lost in Science at the end, which is pretty good. So it's all right. I mean, I not really that into it. My sister really didn't like it, but like, I don't think it's that bad. It's okay. I mean, it sounds great, and it's nice that they're doing a concept album again. First one I think they did since Chronicles of Black Sword, actually. But it's just really hard for me to get into the songs, so that's why it's down there at number 5. So number 4, well, we carry on with the trilogy actually, and we'll go to Into the Woods. It's funny actually, you have that at number 3, but actually it's joint second. It's quite remarkable that the same amount of votes for 2 albums that were part of a concept, which is yeah, quite interesting. So you have it sort of joint second, joint third, whatever you want to sort of call it. Cool artwork again. I do like the album covers. And they brought back the I think that's the Do Re Mi Hawkwind logo, actually brought that back, but carries on the story. I think they break out from the underground and end up living in the woods, so a lot of it carries on with the story. I think I do sort of slightly prefer this album. Let's see what the band is. So you got Mr. Dibbs actually moves to Simps, he comes off the bass. So you got Brock, Chadwick as usual, Has Wheaton takes over bass. You got a new member coming called Magnus Martin. Noah Hone leaves. Yeah, so that's pretty much the lineup of this album, and it's pretty cool. You got I really love actually the first and last songs in this album. So I really love Into the Woods. Starts off with if I remember, it starts with like sort of a weird piano thing, and then it goes like real sort of heavy kind of riff comes in, and I really like it. Really reminds me of a little bit of sort of old Hawkwind. So I really like Into the Woods. Cottage in the Woods is pretty good. The Woodpecker is just a little like 1 minute short piece. Have You Seen Them, which is track sung by Richard Chadwick. Quite a catchy chorus. I quite like Have You Seen Them. There's a video for that as well. Ascent, alright if I remember. Spaceship Blues, actually I'm not that into that. It was the lyrics are taken from Nuclear Drive from Church of Hawkwind. The Wind, try to remember some of these songs, don't really remember that. Vegan Lunch, being vegan, you know, it's the best Hawkwind song ever. No, it's a cool track actually. I quite like Vegan Lunch. It's alright. Magic Scenes is okay. Sort of repetitive kind of first sort of not too good really. Darkland is a really beautiful little instrumental, I think by It might be by Dibs, that one. I really like that. Wood Nymph I really like. Some of the songs at the end I quite like. Wood Nymph, Brock song, I really like that track. Deep Cavern I like as well. And the last track is really good. It reminds me, like I say, of sort of old Hawkwind. It's long. It's around 9 minutes long. No vocals, but it has a jammy kind of early Hawkwind sort of vibe to it. It has a live vibe to it. It doesn't feel very constructed, you know, which is good. You know, it just feels like Brocky playing, the band's just playing. So yeah, I really like Magic Mushrooms. Actually, it's a really good track. So yeah, not too bad. Not too bad an album. Don't mind it too much. So that's Into the Woods. So so number 3 for me is actually your number 5, and I'm going to go for Onward. It's not too bad a cover. I think this opens out like a, I think there was a poster version where it opens out into a poster, but I should show you some more insides actually of that's the machine stops inside cover. There's some cool imagery. Into the Woods had some nice sort of nice sort of photos inside with lyrics and stuff like that. What does Onward have? That's a pretty cool band shot. Back cover. So yeah, this was 2012, I think. Bit of a guess at this. Is it 2012? Let's have a look. Yeah. So yeah, Onward, yeah, 2012. Machine Stops is 2016 actually. Into the Woods 2017. And Instead of Variations was 2012 as well. So yeah, this was their first album in quite a while actually, and it brought back quite a few new members. It's I suppose it's a double album. I only really reviewed the first album because the second disc is more like kind of cover versions and some sort of Brocky numbers almost, some Tim Blake stuff. So the second disc has like another version of Right to Decide, Aerospace Age, some live stuff as well I think, Greenfin Demon, but you have some newer tracks, Deep Fence, Howling Moon, Computer Cowards, but they're more like almost like instrumental tracks really. So I kind of think of that as like just a bonus CD almost. So you got the first disc. Let's who's in the band? Who's in the band on this album? If it does say. Doesn't really say, I don't think so, but I can sort of plunge I guess. So obviously you got Chadwick and Brock, I think Niall Hone's in it, Tim Blake and Mr. Dibs, I think that's the lineup I believe. But yeah, you got, it starts off like with Seasons, which is quite a heavy rocking track, I quite like that. And The Hills Have Ears, another Chadwick song, which kind of makes you jump when it starts because his voice is very high. It just goes straight into it, makes you jump, you know. But I do like Hills of Ears. Mindcut's a really nice track actually. It took me a while to get into Onward, but the more I listened to it, the more sort of got into it really. Mindcut is almost like Brock returning to sort of a folk busky kind of track, which is something he hasn't really done for a lot of years, and I really like it as it goes. Good song that. System Check, just a sort of little kind of reminds you of the beginning of ejection, you know, that kind of thing. Death Trap, a version of Death Trap. I don't know why they did another version of Death Trap. They'd already done it on Alien 4, so I'm not quite sure why they'd want to do it again. But actually, I really like it as it goes. I think I prefer this version to the Alien 4 version. Probably not better than the original, but it brings in a lot more modern technology. So there's even like kind of dance beats in it and stuff like that, which strangely work as it goes. So I quite like the version of Death Trap. It's pretty good. With Mr. Dibbs sings it. Then you got Southern Cross, which is okay. The Prophecy is not too bad. I quite like that song. And then it sort of peters out a little bit. Electric Tears and the Drive-By sort of okay-ish songs, you know, what I can remember. So, but yeah, so I don't mind Onward. It's okay, not too bad an album. So yeah, we go to my number 2, which is your number 4 actually, and I think it's probably ranked a bit higher for me because it's a bit older and I probably lived with it a little bit more. So this is really the only album from the 2000s. I mean, there was an album called Space Baroque, but it's really under the term Hawkwind, but it's really a Dave Rock solo album, so I didn't include that. So yeah, you had Take Me to Your Leader, which brought back the classic threesome actually of Alan Davey, Richard Chadwick and Dave Brock. There's also like lots of other members making guests on this album as it goes. They're full shot of the band. So see if we can find some of the guests. So you got Lena Lovitch, who does, I think, a really good job actually on one of the tracks. Simon House comes back. Jess Haggett on saxophone. Jason Stewart, rest in peace, is on it. Matthew Wright does some spoken word stuff, and Arthur Brown does a song as well. So it's sort of that era. But yeah, it's a pretty good album actually. I quite like this album. Spirit of the Age, really good version by Matthew Wright actually does the vocals on it. I think it's a pretty good modern version. I prefer it to the they did it again with bloody hell, that bloody shouty actor, what's his, Brian Blessed, that's it. I thought it was sort of alright, but I like this version. Out Here We Are, Davey track, pretty kind of electronica track, not bad. I really like sort of like the rocker track Greenback Massacre. Nice Davey sort of rocking track. I've always loved Davey's voice as well as his bass playing. The only downside to that song is the guitars need to be a bit heavier. The guitars are really low in the mix. The bass is really high as you'd expect, but it could have been in sort of a even sort of heavier track, but I do like it. To Love and Machine, I really like that track by Brock. Has a lot of sort of atmosphere to that. It's pretty cool. The title track, Take Me to Your Leader, is interesting because you know, they don't like to sort of just rehash old stuff, old styles all the time. They'll bring back a few old tracks and put modern spins on it. But what I like about Hawkwind is they're happy to incorporate new technologies and things like that. So actually, Take Me to Your Leader has drum and bass on it. Which is quite surprising. But it's alright, it's not too bad. You got Chadwick's Digital Nation. It's just okay, not a song I like that much, to be honest. Arthur Brown's Sunray, I really like that actually. A pretty good song by him. Size, I think, is a pretty quick interlude track. And I really like Angela Android. It's kind of silly in a way. It's a Chadwick sung song. It's nice to see Chadwick singing more songs actually, because around that time he started singing a lot more, and he's got a really good voice. He's able to sort of take a lot of the higher register stuff, so it's nice to see him sing quite a few songs. Angela Android, I mean, yeah, about about a sex robot basically. But I think Lena Lovitch is perfect. Her voice is perfect for that sort of song, with a you know, a strange voice and whoops, and it kind of suits her being an android, you know. So it actually works quite well, even though the song's kind of juvenile in a way. It's a fun song. There's always one of them sort of songs on the Hawkwind album. I don't really have a problem with them. I think they're kind of fun, you know. So that's not a bad track actually. And finally you get the spoken word letter to Robert, which is really fascinating to listen to actually. It's Arthur Brown telling the story of you know, when he was talking to Robert Calvert actually. And underneath it you got kind of electronic spacey sort of music, but it's got quite funny. You know, obviously Calvert was, you know, obviously suffered from mental health problems, and he was quite paranoid, and it comes across a bit on this, but in a kind of nice way, like in a sort of fun way. So yeah, that's quite fun. So yeah, I do like this album quite a bit. So yeah, there you go. Take Me to Your Lead. I really love the album cover. I think I've forgotten the guy's name, because I've got the. He also did this awesome T-shirt as well. I think this was like well, this is the 50th anniversary T-shirt, but also there was an Live in Walthamstow. I've got that T-shirt as well, and that album, and I love his drawings. Peter something. It sounds like, the name sounds like Eastern European or Polish or something like that. But he did a lot of albums around the 2000s and 2010. Martin Krell, I think, the guy who did a lot of the album covers, sort of in the more modern times, but he's really good album covers as well. But Martin M did that one, Into the Woods. Martin M as well. But yeah, cool stuff. So my favourite album, and I would say it's your number one of the noughties and tens as well, and I think it is really good actually. Some of the songs I absolutely really love on the album. One of the songs, honestly, one of the songs on the album is like becoming one of my favourite Hawkwind songs ever. I'm talking about awesome Blood of the Earth, and that's a beautiful album cover, and I've got it in a kind of box, a cool little box set, which has got like it's got like a live CD as well on it. So I want to try and find it, the artwork. Yeah, Martin Krell. Yeah, brilliant. Some brilliant artwork. So to show you some stuff in the middle. Yeah, so that's a pretty cool little inlay card there, like that. So it come with yeah, cool CD. So yeah, well, on this lineup you got yeah, Matthew Wright doing a spoken word bit again. You got Jason Stewart on keyboards, John Sevink, I hope you say it like that. He does the violin. Brocky Chadwick, Timberlake is in the band, Niall Hone and Mr. Dibbs. And yeah, this is the start of them like really producing quite a lot of albums after sort of like the slow sort of 2000s. I mean, they were always touring, so it wasn't like they were doing nothing, you know, they were always touring. But yeah, this is some really good songs there. I mean, I would say that starting the album with Seahawks is a bit of a mistake, because it's just like a kind of slightly dull kind of instrumental that it would have suited the middle of the album a lot more, because the second track suits the beginning of the album a lot more. It's the title track, Blood of the Earth. I think it's Brock and Wright, so I don't know if Wright actually did the lyrics. It's very dark lyrics. It's a spoken word. I really love it's really sinister. I really love the strange effects on Matthew Wright's voice before he starts talking. It's really creepy. I really like it. And then it goes, that slams straight into the awesome Wraith, a Dibs song. I love Wraith. Great rocking catchy tune. One of my favourite sort of modern Hawkwind songs for sure. I love Wraith. It's a great track. That goes into the Green Machine, which I really love. It's really sad sounding. It kind of it's a bit of a forerunner in a way to the last song on the album, because it has a similar sort of vibe. But I love Green Machine. Very, very sad. It's just an instrumental. It sounds really sad. You got Tim Blake's Inner Visions, which not terrific actually. Then you got Sweet Obsession by Brock, which I think is an old Brock song, like a solo song redone, but I quite like that one. Comfy Chair, sort of like, probably can skip that one. Prometheus I really like, a Dibs track, really like that song, pretty good. Yeah, they do a version of You Better Believe It, which is it's good. It's not a bad version at all, but they don't really do much different with it. I think if you're going to rehash sort of older songs, it's probably better to do something a little bit different with it. It's quite a sort of straight cover. There's a little bit of difference in the middle, but it ain't bad. It's pretty good. And then, my God, you come to like one of my favourite songs by Hawkwind in any generation. I absolutely love this song, and it brings a tear to my eye many times when I've heard it. It's called Sentinel. It's astonishingly good. It's based on a poem, I believe. It might be an Arthur C. Clarke poem. I might be wrong about that, but yeah, it's just based on an idea of the Earth's dying and a guy's on the moon. He's a sentinel. He stands next to the monolith. He's hoping that people will come and meet him from the dying Earth, but they never do. He's been there for years and no sign of anyone. So it's like really sad. The tune is absolutely amazing. What makes it for me is the vocal interplay between Chadwick and Dibs. The harmonised vocals are absolutely gorgeous. And it's just super sad. It's just so good. I can't get enough of it. It's like the whole vibe of the song is amazing. It's like by far the standout song of the 2010s for me. It's like pretty amazing how much I love that song compared to everything else, you know. But there are lots of good songs in this album, but like, yeah, there's something about that song that's pretty special actually. So there you go. That's my #1 album. It was also your #1 album from the tens and noughties and tens. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. I'll get prepared next time, because next time will be my last one, and I'm gonna do one that I really like actually, and I know you'll like it too, because we all have a sort of Hawkwind live album. There's been many. What I'll do is I'll pick my favourite 10, because there's so many Hawkwind live albums. I'll do my worst to best top 10, and again I'll compare it to your top 10. Yeah, I'm gonna really enjoy that one. So yeah, I won't spend so long before the next video. So cheers for watching, and I'll see you